Hello, everyone, and welcome to Choices Finding Your Joy, brought to you by On Point Neuro. I am Paula Vail, happy to have you with us again this week, and I'm just so happy today to have, excuse me, a fellow Washington girl. So how exciting. Today I have with me Aimée Cartier. And she is a psychic guide who specializes in helping her clients discern the choices that align with their highest interest. She is the author of the book, Getting Answers, Using Your Intuition for Getting the Answers that will allow you to create a joyous and fulfilling life. She's the founder of the Empath Intuition University, where through an alternately 4 or 7 month program, she teaches empaths. This is just so exciting to have you here today. Thank you, Aimée.
I'm really excited to be here.
I love it. I love it. And I love the topic of empathy because, oh gosh, I think that's my middle name. I love it. Well, let's begin. Do you want to tell us a bit about yourself before we start on the topic of empathy?
Sure. What would you like to?
Kind of what brought you to where you're at today?
Yeah, good question. Good question. Well, I'm a psychic, as you mentioned, and I'm built like this. It took me years to finally be like, okay, I'm going to do this as a profession because it's not a usual profession. So but it was really actually Sonia Choquette. She's a world-renowned psychic who one day said to me, why aren't you doing readings? And that was just sort of the kick in the pants I needed to do what I already knew that I needed to do. So that's how I started that work. And then it just developed into, in addition to doing readings, I also do something called Empath Intuition University, which you mentioned, and another Intuition University. I have like a private program with that. So I love intuition, and I use it for everything. And I really feel like it's a sixth sense that guides you to flourishing. It's the one that you have that gives you the information that maybe you don't have in your brain, or you can't see logically or weren't exposed to, that really allows you to get the information you need to flourish and thrive. So I just love teaching people how to access their own and use it. And it's such a happy thing. I love it.
Our intuition is just so amazing, how we can feel some kind of connection to a person, or an area that we may see, or just a feeling about something.
Totally. Yes. It's so mysterious and lovely.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And as we grow, I call it vibrationally, and rise to higher vibration levels, it's amazing how our intuition grows as well.
Totally true.
Oh, well, I would like to ask you, what is the difference between being empathic and having empathy?
Really good question. Because it can be confusing for people. Empath, I think, is a newish word, or maybe it's not a new word, but it's becoming more and more known. So empathy is something that most people have. It's the feeling like you understand what's going on, you see something and you understand, what's happening for them, and you can feel for them, whatever is happening. Or, you understand it, I guess, to make the difference. And then being empathic, what happens is when you're empathic is not only do you understand what's going on for that person, but you actually feel it inside your own skin as though it's happening to you. So if somebody is sad or upset or having an experience really close to you, in your own body, you're having those same feelings that they are. So that's the difference. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I love it. When did you and how did you first realize how empathic you really are?
Yes, it happened about 15 years ago. And what happened for me is I was walking outside, and I was in this amazing, joyous state. I mean, truly the only way I can describe it was ecstatic. I was just in such an amazing place. I can still remember the sun was shining. I was walking up these large cream-colored stairs into a building to go eat lunch, into a cafeteria. And I was acutely aware of my own internal state. And I think that's one of the reasons why I realized what was going on for me. Because what happened was, within 15 seconds, I walked in the door, and it was the kind of cafeteria where there's two lines on either side. Mm-hmm. You're dishing up your own food. And I walked in the door, and I was dishing up my own food. And then suddenly I was frustrated, and I felt like uncomfortable in my skin. I was irritated. And I even had this thought about not being able to finish a chapter of this book. And I wasn't writing a book. Literally, I was not writing a book at that time. So that happened as I was going through the line, dishing out my food. And I finished dishing out my food. I went over and I sat by myself, and I was like, what just happened here? I mean, I was ecstatic just a few moments ago. And then suddenly within 15 seconds, I'm uncomfortable and I'm mad, irritated, and nothing had happened to me. Literally nothing had happened to me to warrant any of those feelings. So I remember looking around. I looked around the cafeteria, and I saw the woman who had been across from me on the other side. And I had just been peripherally aware of her, not really much at all. And when I saw her, I knew exactly what had happened, because I knew that she actually was writing a book. And I realized I just downloaded everything she was feeling. I just was in proximity to her, and I just downloaded what was going on for her. And I think for me, because like I said, it was such a short span of time between my really ecstatic moment to like completely disgruntled. It was the first time I was really able to understand and see the line of what just happened. And right in that moment, it took me a few seconds to realize I have been doing this my whole entire life. And I didn't know, because you feel it all inside. So you don't know. You just think, oh, I'm crabby right now, or I'm disgruntled or something. Yeah. And so that was really the defining moment for me. It was so pronounced. And I don't remember actually when I first heard the word empath. It wasn't until much later that I even came in contact with that word. But it was that moment that I really became aware of what I was doing, and that I didn't even try to do this, that I was just built like this.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. So how much longer after that did you decide to start your Empath Intuition University?
Yeah. Well, it was about 15 years, because what happened was, once I realized that this is how I was built, I spent the next approximately 3 years learning how to live like this, because I didn't want to just download anything I came across. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be able to access my own feelings and my own understandings, because one of the things that came to me in that same moment was, who am I then? If I've been downloading everyone else my whole life, how can I even know who I am? So I spent about the next 3 years really teaching myself practices so that I wasn't just an open, porous, so I could control my ability and not just take on everything that I came in contact with. So that was immediately following that moment in time where I realized. And then it was about 15 years, maybe 14 years before I started Empath Intuition University.
Awesome. Now tell us a bit about the university. Is it online? If they sign up, is it several months? Tell us a bit about that, and give us your website information if the viewers and listeners want to look more into that, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's I teach it twice a year. I start one in the fall, and that's a 4-month program, and I start one in January, and that's a 7-month program. And it's the exact same program. It's just one we meet every week, and the other one that starts in January, we meet every other week. And we meet entirely over the phone. We're all on conference call. And so people can be anywhere. I have students that are in this country, sometimes out of this country, wherever they are. You just call into a US phone line, and that's how we connect. And we're also in touch via WhatsApp also during the times where we're not in class, and we connect that way. But it's over the phone, and it's a manageable, I teach my students in really manageable steps how to manage their abilities, the same things that I learned all those years ago, and also how to balance themselves so that they're not, so that they have more balanced energy, and learn the things that I think are essential for empaths to be able to live in the world so that they can thrive instead of hide, which happens sometimes when you are empathic. You just feel so overwhelmed by everybody else's business that you hide. So it's designed to really support each person in their process, and it's such a lovely thing when there's many of us. You know, when there's many in the program, it's not just you. You get to hear from everyone else and understand that there are other people that are built like you and as sensitive to these nuances and things as you. And then, you know, little by little, each time we practice a different thing, and you go away and you practice, and then we come back together and we talk about it. So each lesson expands on the other until we're at the end.
Yes. Is it difficult at all when you're empathic to, you know, be able to figure out, you know, and feel, okay, these are my feelings. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm feeling from someone else. And you have to separate that so that you can look at it, you know, with a different view. How would you explain that?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that I teach is, especially in my Empath Intuition University, which I forgot to give the website. It's my name, AiméeCartier.com, or also spreadingblessings.com. That will lead you to the same spot. Right. So it really can be confusing. And what I teach my students is to understand how to tell when what they're picking up is coming from somewhere else. So when it's coming from outside of them, their body. And once you start to be able to understand that, one thing happens is that you start to get a feel for what's just you, which is really good, because for an empath, when you're constantly picking up everybody else's, sometimes your voice is just one of many. So once you start to separate, you're able to see, oh, who am I, and what do I look like, and what do I feel like? But it's not that hard of a practice. It just really takes some vigilance in terms of, once you understand that you're built like this, then you start to go out from there and think, you know, understand when you're in certain situations to check in with yourself. Is this me? Does this belong to me? Did something just happen to me that would cause this? Or is this something I'm picking up from somewhere else?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, everyone, we are going to pop out for a quick break, and Aimée and I will be right back. Thank you, Aimée.
So exciting.
Thank you, everyone.